Hey everyone, good morning. Uh, it's a beautiful Wednesday in Boston. Welcome to Inforce again. Today the session is going to be about Wickr, how to use Wickr for secure communications. We launched our preview yesterday, so just some background context. AWS acquired Wickr in 2021. In our journey to become a native service, we are launching a preview of our SaaS product uh, yesterday. So when we spoke to our customers, we got signals that our customers wanted a communication service that provides advanced security. So often our customers end up communicating and transporting very sensitive data that's important for mission critical operations. And the request was to have a product that's very secure. They also wanted flexible administrative controls for user and policy management. Again, you might have heard some news. A lot of companies use consumer-grade encrypted apps because it provides advanced security, but it lacks the flexible controls. So they end up in regulatory hot water primarily because of the non-ability to meet the compliance and auditory requirements. And to that fact, customers also wanted a communications product that allows them to retain data for regulatory and auditory purposes while making sure that the advanced security is not compromised. And of course, user experience is very important. So they wanted a very easy to use app which performs well in low network conditions and whatnot, so that it's important for them to meet their mission critical needs. So we actually launched Wickr Preview yesterday, and we believe that we have a product that meets all these needs. So Wickr is an enterprise communication service with full suite of capabilities across messaging, calling, workflow automation. Everything that we do in Wickr is end-to-end encrypted. Whether you send a message, place a call, or share your location, everything is end-to-end encrypted. We have invested a lot in making sure Wickr works in low bandwidth conditions because we understand our customers who are actually using our product use it more often than not on the go for missions on the ground. So it's important to ensure that the communications are actually transmitted in the right way in low network conditions. And we provide flexible and granular administrative controls for managing your organization's networks. And one of the key differentiations that we are bringing to the table is that we allow our customers to retain all of the conversations that your organization is having in a customer control data store. We will learn more about this in the coming slides, but the key piece being it's in a customer control data source. It's not in the cloud, it's something that you control so that our customers have full control of their data. So how it works, again, administrators typically set up groups with their administrative controls. They set up their network, add users, and then the users have capabilities like messaging, calling, which they use to communicate with each other. Everything is encrypted again. Every communication is encrypted. And we have a way to allow our customers to set up a data compliance server so that all the data that you create in your organization gets retained for auditing purposes. Now let's talk a bit more about advanced security. So focusing on encryption, like we have our own proprietary 256-bit end-to-end encryption. Like we invest a lot in making sure the cryptography is solid. Like mathematical models ensure that we kind of validate that against a lot of security threats that's going on. So everything that we do is end-to-end encrypted with our proprietary technology. And the content is encrypted. The way it works is the content is encrypted on the sender's device, and our cryptographic protocols ensure that only the right intended recipients receive the content, and only they have the keys to decrypt them too. So it's a two-way check. We check for access, and we also check for the right keys to decrypt the messages. And just to re-emphasize, no one other than the intended recipients, including AWS, has the access to decrypt the keys. So this gives organizations complete control of their data. We do not store anything in the cloud. Everything is stored on the validated endpoints, ensuring that it also reduces the risk of person in the middle attacks, primarily because we don't store anything in the cloud. Everything is stored on validated endpoints. Now let's talk a bit about Wickr Open Access. So Our customers also indicate a need that for their mission critical needs, they actually want to get protection against restricted and monitored networks. We have a session later in the day about Freedom Shield Foundation, a nonprofit who kind of helps people get away from and rescue from human trafficking and whatnot. They use this primarily because of the security postures we provide to ensure that they can communicate securely for rescue operations. And one of the features that they use most is Wickr Open Access. So we have built a solution that connects across a series of proxy servers to enable that we find the best path for your data while obfuscating all the traffic, so that malicious organizations who are trying to hijack the mission can never understand where the traffic is coming from. It gives you extra protection. And again, with administrative controls, you can enable this, disable this for your organization. We also allow end users to actually enable this for certain mission critical communications. So the flexibility is that organizations can kind of force it on all users in your organization, because every communication needs to be secured, or organizations can let users decide when they want to use it on a need basis. Now let's talk about the collaboration experience. So I'm going to switch to a live demo just to show how good the experience is. Give me a minute, I'm just changing. We'll skip forward. There's something wrong with the machine. We'll skip forward. So basically, we have a really fun and frictionless messaging experience. So one-to-one group chats, rooms, emojis, sharing location. A lot of our customers actually use the location sharing feature, primarily because when it comes to mission operations, they want to know where other people are. Like even for rescue operations, it's important that people share locations in an encrypted way, so that only the people who are on the rescue mission have access to where they are. So like location sharing, file sharing, like a lot of SOPs, a lot of procedures to how to execute the mission, and change in procedures and change in decisions as to how to execute the mission are actually done through file sharing, because it's even more secure in the way that you can send encrypted files, you don't have to send messages, and it's easy to make sure everybody follows the procedure. And some of the advanced security features we have are ephemeral messages. You have the ability, and burn on read, you have the ability to configure how the message should behave after it's read. It could burn after 6 hours, 3 hours, 1 hour. You can set those configurations so that your communications are protected. We also have the ability to notify other users if somebody takes a screenshot. So we know that while we encrypt the communications, it's important to let people know when someone is trying to take a screenshot and share it with others. So we send a notification to everyone in the room when somebody tries to take a screenshot. Device linking is another way to ensure that we keep the encryption going on validated endpoints. So any new device you want to bring on, it has to be validated from an encrypted endpoint, so that we know that it's you who's trying to sign into another device. So let's talk about calling. So we have a couple of modes in calling. We have a regular meeting mode where we allow up to 70 participants to collaborate seamlessly with each other. We also have a webinar-like presenter mode. So we understand that a lot of people would want to be in a place where they receive communications throughout a mission. So we kind of have a presenter mode where we allow up to 500 people to view the content, while we have a moderator to control what content is being shared. We also have presets. We understand that in a hybrid work environment, you kind of switch between different contexts. You work from home, you go into office, there are different machines and different settings you would want to use. We have presets which will understand the context that you're in and join the meeting in a way that you would like to join. And while you're in the meeting, we have multiple layouts for viewing people in a grid view, or primarily putting the content up for content to be the front and center of the entire presentation. So we have multiple content layouts to ensure that the content and the people experience is pretty good as well. One of the other features that our customers use a lot is external federation. So we understand that it's important for our customers to communicate securely, not only with people within their organization, but also with their partners and with people external to the organization as well. We also have gotten feedback that it's important to emphasize and build the right kind of intent while you're conversing with internal versus external users, which is why we have UX differentiation to indicate when you're in an external conversation, you kind of know how many external members are in the group so that your communications can be done appropriately. Again, administrators can also control flexibly which organizations the users can federate with. You can enable, you can even allow list certain domains so that you control partner communication only with approved set of customers. You can also enable what we call global federation in a way that you allow the entire network of Wickr users to communicate with you as well. Let's talk about data governance. I think one of the key points to highlight is when we say we are an encrypted product, and when we say we allow customers to retain their data, we often understand that the reaction is it's kind of oxymoronic. Like you're telling me that you're encrypting everything on validated endpoints, but you're also telling me that organizations can see the data. I just want to emphasize on this a bit because the way we have designed our data governance model is also in a very encrypted way. So we make sure that we understand that customers want a way to retain sensitive conversations, because when they are in a litigation hold, when they have e-discovery needs, they have to show proof of conversations. We know that we have gotten that feedback from a lot of our public sector customers and commercial sector customers as well. So that's when we went out to figure out how can we solve this in a way that it doesn't compromise the security, but meets our customer needs. So the way we have built it is, as we all know, when Anna sends a message to John, the message is encrypted on Anna's device, and then it's transmitted to John, and John has the right keys, so John can decrypt the device, decrypt the message. Now, if you enable data compliance or data governance for your organization, what we do is we ask our customers to create a compliance bot in their environment, and the key being in their environment. So this bot runs in our customer's self-hosted environment. It's not managed and hosted on AWS. It's managed and hosted by our customer. And at the end of the day, the bot is also another encrypted endpoint. So when Anna sends a message to John, if compliance or governance is turned on, the same message gets delivered to the compliance bot as well. And the bot has the right keys, so the bot is able to decrypt the message. And then the bot, customers can configure the bot to route that message to a data server based on their needs. We kind of have S3 out of the box as one of the options that our customers can use, but the customer can actually control whatever data server they want to use for their compliance storage. And the key thing again being both the bot and the data server actually resides within the customer's environment. It's self-hosted, giving customers the promise of completely controlling and owning their data. So even if AWS wants to kind of access the data for monitoring and debugging purposes, we just simply cannot, because it lives completely within the customer's boundary, and that's how we promise that everything that we do is encrypted up to when it gets stored as well. So let's look a bit about the architecture as to how a customer can set up the data governance model. So we've got two environments. We've got the AWS environment, where we have the Wickr admin console, where customers can actually control how their network kind of operates. And we have Wickr backend server, which kind of orchestrates a lot of functionalities and features. And then we have the customer's environment, where the customer hosts a compliance bot, and they can host data storage for retaining the data. So administrators log into Wickr admin console, and the first step is they turn on data compliance for their network. By default, compliance is off. Administrators have to take an action of turning it on. And they download and deploy the compliance host in their environment. We have instructions to do so. And as a part of the configuration, like I said, S3 is out of the box. Customers can use a regular S3 bucket or an encrypted S3 bucket so that it's encrypted at rest as well. So they configure data storage. And once all the checks and balances are done, the compliance host is active and running, a signal is sent to the Wickr server. So our backend understands that the compliance is turned on for a particular network, all the checks and signals are done properly, and then our backend propagates the changes to the encrypted clients. And the clients accept the change. They also validate the change because we encrypt the backend signal as well. So it's got to decrypt it. It's got to have a key which maps to the network so that it's decrypted the right way. So the Wickr clients acknowledge the fact that now network is turned on, like data governance is turned on for this network. They give an indication to the users that your organization has turned this on, and all the data gets routed to the compliance server. And customers have all the data they need for any auditing purposes. Now let's take a look at a demo of how all of this works. So in this demo, I'm logged into my AWS console. I click on AWS Wickr, and I go manage my network. You're authenticated right in to the Wickr admin console through SSO from your AWS account. And this is the dashboard. You can kind of manage your network from here. And then you go to data compliance and the network settings. And we have instructions. And as you can see right now, up top, the data compliance is off. The step one is to get a Docker image. I have opened the Docker image. It's running right now. I've got the key to configure the server. Now, I've entered the key. The network is validated. We are waiting for the bot to be up and running. We just saw the gray check mark turn green, which indicates the bot is up and the compliance host is up and running. We are ready to proceed the next step. And once we turn on the toggle at the end, you can see the compliance become active. And right after that, in a few seconds, the client gets the update saying compliance is turned on for your particular network. And from this moment on, the user acknowledges the change, and let's send a couple of messages and see how it kind of gets reflected in the self-hosted compliance host. As you can see, every time we send a message, the key rotation happens, the key validation happens, and the message is received. Let's send another message to see how all of this works. There we go. That's the second message. You should see, yep, there we go. The key is rotated. We do take key rotation and key management very seriously. It's done at a very frequent basis to ensure advanced security as well. Now I'm going back to my console. I'm going to an S3 bucket to see how the message is reflected. And I'm going to go pick on the bucket that I have configured. And there we go. And both messages are received. So you are able to configure data governance for your network. You're able to ensure that you validate the compliance host in an encrypted way. You're able to configure a storage for where your company's data should store, and you're able to access that in flexible way. It could be a normal S3 bucket, or we highly recommend using an encrypted S3 bucket because you have encryption throughout, even for data at rest. Now let's talk about administrative controls. So again, this is the Wickr admin console. This is a demo network that we have set up. You can kind of have a view of how many active users and pending users that you have. You can manage your plan. You can change your billing. You can manage your profile. You can go and have user management. You can add users. You can kind of delete them. You can remove admins. You can add a sub-admin. You have a lot of options to actually manage the users in your network from here. And we also have security groups where you can configure a group of users for policy management. You can kind of set policies as to how those users in the security group should behave. Do you want to have Wickr open access for them? Do you want to give them an option to enable Wickr open access, or would you like to force update clients for them? And then for federation, you have local federation and global federation. Local federation is federated across the network that you are using from a SaaS standpoint, and global federation is across different options. Like we do have custom deployment options for self-hosted as well. Like most of our public customers, they want more security to self-host even their data, their messaging and calling servers. So we do give that ability. So global federation allows the option for all the customers that uses Wickr to kind of interact with each other in a secure way. We also understand why we know that messaging, calling, these administrative controls are important. We also understand that it's important for our customers to automate their workflows in a way that they can securely have data exchanged between different systems, with Wickr being the one that controls the security posture of the entire conversation. So we have Wickr bots. Again, like I mentioned, our compliance service, our data governance service is built on a bot as well. All the bots that Wickr has are also encrypted endpoints. They handle keys, they have the right key management. We ensure, bot is nothing but a user who is not actually conversing in the chats by themselves. So we have a bots SDK that allows developers to build custom purpose bots to automate workflows. Bots can be added to chat rooms. It allows users to interact with them. You can configure how a bot kind of appears in your network. We have silent bots. We have actual bots that are visible to the users as well. So your organization can control how the workflows are automated. Users can invoke bots using short commands or specific keywords as well. We understand that when you're on the go, you need an easy way to discover and kickstart a workflow. So the short commands kind of take care of that. We also have an extensible UI canvas where you can pre-configure responses so that you can allow your users to easily pick options and go from there. Like I said, our bots are configured to read and write data from any data source. While we understand that we cannot encrypt all the data sources, what we make sure is we have a way for organizations and our customers to kind of bring data into Wickr, make sure that everything that people do with the data is done with an encrypted way, so that only the right users can kind of make the changes and then push the changes back to the data source so that changes are reflected. A classic example where we are being used in many scenarios are a lot of customers use this for threat detection and incident response scenarios, where if there is a very highly severe incident, you want to pull in a set of people, we have the ability to pre-configure rooms. A bot can actually understand that there is a threat that got detected. It can spin off a room, add right people in the room, and bring in the right content into the room, allow them to make decisions, and then propagate those decisions to different data sources based on how you configure the bot. And all of this is done within Wickr in an encrypted way. Bots can also be self-hosted within the customer's environment. So we have two ways to manage bots. You can either create a SaaS bot, which is hosted and managed by AWS, but we also understand that sometimes you want that extra security. So we allow customers to self-host some of the bots that they develop as well. We also understand that administrators, the right roles and the right access is very important for administrators. So we have a role called bot admins, where you can invite different teams in your organization to come and develop bots and manage the bots that they have developed. So the bot admin roles are purely for managing the bots. They will not be able to manage anything else in your network. So you can control kind of flexibly who gets access to do what changes within your network and the admin console. To talk about broadcast bot, this is a classic example. So we have built this bot. It's available for everyone. We understand that organizations have a need to broadcast messages to either everyone in the network or specific security groups. Messages will be delivered to each individual in a one-on-one setting. You can broadcast messages, files, voice memos, You can receive a response from the bot, from the users. Typically, users act, and then you can act with the location to know where they are. There are flexible kind of capabilities when it comes to how the users can respond. Now let's take a look at a quick video of how the broadcast bot works. So like the little bubbles at the bottom is the extensible UI canvas I was talking about. So I'm going to use a short command to start the bot. As you can see, the pre-configured responses tell you whether you can pick the users from a security group. I picked security group. It lists the security groups in your network. You can respond with the option 2, and then it gets it asks for acknowledgement. You say yes because this message will be sent to everyone in the security group. It's important to do an acknowledgement. And now the message is actually broadcasted. I'm typing the message. Hey team, please respond with your locations. I want to know where you are. I want to make sure everyone's safe. So there you go. And a confirmation again. Now it's actually going to be sent. I'm going to say no because I don't want to repeat the message. And the short commands /status. There we go. I'm going to check for status. It gives you how many users have received the message, how many messages have failed because they might not be online. Everyone might not be online. So I'm going to check the location of everyone. You tap on the URL. It gives you a cluster of where your users are. So you can know at any given point in time where your users are, if they're safe. And this location is just an example. You can configure this bot to receive responses with just an acknowledgement, or with a file, or with a photo, and you can just collect all that information and store it in a place wherever you feel is secure. So let's talk about how organizations use Wickr. So a lot of enterprises use Wickr for out-of-band communication, right? Like I said, AWS acquired Wickr last year. We are in the journey of launching a native service. So we have a lot of customers that use Wickr and give us constant feedback as to how to improve our offerings. So enterprises use this for out-of-band communications and disaster recovery. We have a lot of government agencies using us for insulating high target communications like sensitive comms, making sure that there is no person in the middle attacks. The data is kind of safe and secure when it gets delivered to the right people. Like military uses us to meet the DoD requirements, which are kind of very secure and advanced in terms of the security postures that we have to build to be a sensitive communications tool for DoD. And we bring all that goodness to everyone. So it's like, that's the great thing about solving for many customers across public sector and commercial sector. We are able to bring the ease of use and the experience that we build for commercial sector to the public sector. We are able to bring the security postures and the advanced cryptographic controls that we build for public sectors to the commercial customers as well. We have a lot of police departments using us for tactical and investigative kind of situations. And because we are secure by nature, a lot of highly regulated industries, especially companies in healthcare and financial services industry, use us for transmitting PII and PHI data to ensure that it's not kind of open for vulnerabilities. So what's next? Like I said, we are extremely happy to announce Wickr is in a preview. You can actually go to your console and set up Wickr. The preview is at no additional cost. You can sign up for Wickr's preview by going to aws.amazon.com/Wickr, and you can be a part of our product evolution journey. We constantly seek feedback from every single customer. Like we really want to understand how we can help you solve your secure collaboration needs, and we invest in building specific features to meet your needs as well. So that's all I've got. I think I've lost a few minutes because of the demo kind of hiccup. But yeah, thank you. Open for any questions. If you could speak up a bit louder, sorry. Gotcha. If I understood your question, you're asking, can we bring the Wickr servers outside of the cloud and self-host, right? So we've got, just to explain that a little bit, we think about this in 3 different scenarios. So there is messages where every single conversation gets orchestrated, gets routed to the right endpoints. There is calling, orchestrating calling under different network conditions and all that stuff. And then there is the data at the end of the day where the data is stored. So in our preview right now, the SaaS product, what we offer is we understand that customers need to control their data. So we offer customers the ability to self-host the data. While we also understand that self-hosting messaging and calling puts a lot of overhead on our customers to actually managing the messaging and calling service. So we kind of make that easy for you. We also are completely self-hosted option, which is a different offering altogether, allows you to self-host 3 different servers. One for messaging, one for calling, and one for compliance. We also have a few public sector customers who have really interesting needs where they want to have Wickr work under unique network configurations that they have. So we kind of allow that to happen as well. Thank you. Oh, great question. So the question is, do you have any use cases where Wickr is used for chain of custody? We do. Even though I cannot go into detail of what particular use case it is, the benefit of cryptography is to ensure that there is the right chain of custody. So we have customers who have built workflows to hand off communications, to hand off documents, so that it's handed off to the right person. Sometimes they store it in an encrypted location so that it's stored in the encrypted location. Sometimes our customers just say it's okay to just get stored on the encrypted endpoint. We don't even need that document to live in a particular cloud location. It's okay to just give it an encrypted endpoint so that we kind of use it within ourselves for secure communications. So yes, customers do use this for chain of custody, and our extensible kind of workflow automation ensures that customers can configure however they want, however they can leverage the cryptography that we have to solve for chain of custody scenarios as well. Thank you for that question. Any other questions? All right. Thanks everyone for your time. We hope that you sign up for Wickr. If you have any questions, I'm happy to chat. Thank you.